exercise 18-4 on page 288 at the bottom left-hand corner. All right, so we've got a comparative balance sheet for February 28th, 2015 and March 1st, 2014 for BlackBerry. So we've gotten some information and they've asked us to do a horizontal and a vertical analysis and then talk about any significant changes. So when we look at it, I've set up the financial statement given, and I've created an amounts column and a percentage column. So the amount is going to be the numeric change between the current year and the prior year. So that would be current assets in February, $4,167 minus $4,848. So when we look at that, that is a decrease for the minus sign of $681. So current assets this year have decreased by $681, or 81 million. These are in millions, but we'll just use the dollar amounts right now for 681. To figure out the percentage, we take the 681 divided by 4848, or the previous year, to get the percentage, and it's decreased by 14%. So all we do horizontally, so think horizontal horizon, is we go line by line on the balance sheet or income statement and just calculate the change and percent change for each line item. So we can do the same for the entire balance sheet, and I'll talk through. So again, non-current assets this year, 2,382, last year 2,704, which means it's decreased by 322, or as a percentage we take 322 divided by prior year, which is 2,704, which gets us a decrease of 11.9%. We can then look at the total assets. So the total assets are 6,549 minus 7,552 gives us a net decrease of 1,003. If we take 1,003 divided by 552, we get a net decrease of 13.3 for all assets. Okay, we can then do the same for the liabilities and equity. So current liabilities, 13,063 minus 2,268 gets us a decrease of 905. 905 divided by the prior year, which is 2,268, is minus 39.9%. Our non-current liabilities this year, 1,755, last year, 1,659, have increased by 96%, or 96 divided by 1,659 is 5.8%. Our total liabilities this year, 3,118, last year, 3,927. They've decreased by 809. As a percentage, that's 809 divided by 3,927, so a decrease of 20.6%. We can then look at our equity. Our equity was is 3431 this year, was 3625 last year. It's decreased by 194, so that's a decrease. If we take 194 divided by 3625, it's decreased by 5.5%. So our total liabilities and shareholders' equity should be the same as our total assets. 6549 minus 750.52 is a difference of 1,003. 1,003 divided by 755 gets us our 13.3%. So as you can see, when we're looking at horizontal analysis, we look at the dollar amount change in each account and the percentage change, and it highlights some significant areas. So, our current liabilities decrease by 40%. That's a fairly significant liability decrease. Part B asks us to look at vertical analysis. So verticals up and down. And so what we do for vertical analysis is we set our base as total assets and total liabilities and shareholders' equity. And so when I'm saying we set it at 100%. So we're comparing all of our other assets and liabilities to that base. So for example, my current assets will be, when we want to figure out the percentage of current assets to the total assets. So we take 4167 divided by the total assets, which is 6549. So that is a percentage. So of our total assets, current assets make up 63.6% of that balance, which means they have to add up to 100%. Our non-current will equal 36.4, which we get by taking 2382 divided by our asset, our base, our total asset amount, which is 6549. We can do that for the prior year as well. So again, we set the base as our total assets. We take 4848 divided by total assets of 7552 to get 64.2%. And then we take our non-current assets of 2704 divided by our total assets, 7552, to get 35.8. So we have what percentage does each line item make up of the total. We can then do the same for our liabilities and shareholders' equity. 1363 divided by our total liabilities and our equity, not our total liabilities, but our total of the balance sheet, total liabilities and shareholders' equity. So it's 1363 divided by 6549 gives us 20.8%. Our non-current liabilities are 1755 divided by 6549 is 26.8. We can calculate it on what percentage of total liabilities is of shareholders' equity. In this case, 3,118 divided by 6549 is 47.6. Now that's going to be the addition of these two. So all these numbers, if I put in a total liability number, will not add up to 100. If we take this out, it will. So this is summing the total liabilities. So we've got liabilities are 47.6% of liabilities and shareholders. So it just gives us a breakdown of what's debt and what's equity. And then we do the same for equity. 3431 divided by 6549 gives us 52.4%. I can then do the same for the prior year. 2268 divided by the base, which would be total liabilities and shareholders' equity of 7552, gives me 30%. My non-current liabilities are 1659 divided by 7552, which is 22%. My total liabilities are 3927 divided by 7552 gives me 52%, and our total shareholders' equity is 3625 divided by 755.52, which is 48%. So if we add up 30 plus 22 plus 48, we get the 100%. So that's how we do a vertical and a horizontal analysis. And then the final says, what significant changes did we see? Well, we can see what's really flipped in this company is their percentage of liabilities and equity. This year, their liabilities are 47.6, which means their equity is 52.4. So we have more equity than liabilities. Whereas last year we had more debt than equity. We had liabilities of 52 and shareholders' equity of 48. So it looks like we are issuing more equity and we have less debt during the year, right? And then if we look, that's our major difference is in our liabilities and equity. It looks like our assets stayed relatively the same. If we look back to our horizontal analysis, we saw the biggest change was in that current liabilities went down. And that makes sense in our vertical, as we saw our liabilities as a percentage went down this year, as did our current liabilities. So it looks like we still have good liquidity in the business. We have, if we look at current assets, 4,167, current liabilities are 13.6, so at least coverage over 2 times. So that's okay. So we just look at this as an analysis tool to highlight areas of interest, right? We can see a big change here in current liabilities, which we may not have seen just looking at the numbers. And again, when we do it as percentages, we can see, oh, they now have less debt as a percentage of their total.